In this part, I will show how to create integration tests for your application. The startup project template comes with pre-configured for unit and integration tests, so you don't have to deal with creating the test environment. The test projects are configured to use a SQLite in-memory database. A separate database instance is created and seeded with the dataseed system to prepare a fresh database for every test case. So I want to start to create a test class for the book application service. I am adding a books folder. I'm writing the test in the application.tests project because I'm testing the application layer. Bookup service tests. The startup templates comes with some base classes that we can simply inherit to make our test class integrated to the ABP framework and the other libraries use it. So we can just inherit. getRequiredService is a base method to get a service from dependency injection. In this point, the dependency injection has been configured and we can resolve services. I'm just resolving the book of service. Now I want to test to get a list of books. Adding a fact for the X unit. I just called the getList method of the book application service with default parameters. So I can just check if the result contains the necessary books as expected. First of all, result.total count should be greater than 0. And also the result.items should contain a book with the name is 1984. I can assume that this book does exist in the database because I have created a bookstore data seeder in the domain layer. As you can remember, if there is no book in the database, it inserts 2 books to the database. In this way, we can be sure that there are 2 books in the database, and we can write our unit tests or integration tests actually based on this assumption. So I can now see the test case in the test explorer, and I can run the test and see if it's pass. Good. It can get the list of books. I'm just adding another test that creates a valid book. It just uses the create method with the create update book DTO with a few parameters, with a few properties, and the assertion is like that. The result.id should not be GUID empty, because it should fill the ID of the new created entity, and I'm just checking the name should be the name given when creating the book. I can now run both tests to see if they are working. Now I am adding another test method which tries to create a new book without the name of the book. Sorry. So we wait that it throws an exception in this case, because the name property is required for the create update book DTO. So when I call the create method with an invalid input, it just throws an ABP validation exception. A start dot throws method is a helper method of XUnit that checks if the given code block thrown an exception. We can also check if exception validation errors contains an information that the validation error is related to name property. I can run it again, and yes, all of the methods are properly working. You can add more method or more test case to cover your source code better. Actually, for the book application service, we don't have to write any test case, because it's derived from the CRUD app service base class, and it doesn't contain any custom method. All the base application service methods are already tested in the framework, so most of the time you only need to write tests for your own methods.